number of different assets out there that can be traded. Some are correlated to others. Some have inverse correlations. You mentioned gold, for example. Typically, if the stock market is down, gold, silver, the precious metals will be up. So you can use that inverse correlation. If the market is up and gold is up also, there may be something wrong there, and there may be an anomaly. Maybe that's a time where you hold off a bit. You have some patience, because typically the opposite should be happening. There are some things that are correlated. If one market is going up and another market typically goes up at the same time, and that's not happening, maybe there's something to look at. There's some opportunities there. So again, these are the things that are taught in classes that help you to put odds in your favor, that you have a better chance of having that high reward, low risk trade or investment. And all of those things follow that same supply and demand component. So if there are more buyers of something, price is going to go up. If there's more sellers for something, price is going to go down. Those are all the basic parts of how to invest with odds in your favor. But the one thing that you have to control to be able to properly utilize all those things are your emotions. And if right now the markets are being controlled by emotions, we saw that with the comment by Biden about the increase in capital gains taxes. Emotions caused that market to roll over. Well, if you let your emotions make decisions for you, you're really kind of feeding into what Wall Street wants you to do. They are really benefiting based on your emotions. One of the most famous traders of all time, Jesse Livermore, back in the 20s, back in 1929 when the market crashed, the big crash before the Depression, Jesse Livermore made $100 million during the crash by shorting the market. But the comment he has made is, look, I make my living off of the emotions of the common investor. So how do you control the emotions? That's part of a plan. We talked about two of the components. One is the timing component of your plan. The other is the proper asset or assets to use that help you to achieve, give you the opportunity to achieve your goals. But the emotions are controlled by having a set of rules that you follow. Every successful trader out there will tell you they have a plan that includes a set of rules. If they veer from those rules, then they start to have results that they don't want. So if you have a set of rules that are designed in a way to give you consistency in your trading, that's your Bible. That you follow those rules. You don't veer from them. You don't try to improve on things. Just follow the rules. That's going to take your thinking, the fear and the greed part of trading decisions out of your life, because you have to do that. Otherwise, number one, the stress is too great. But number two, you're going to make decisions that aren't in your best interest because your head and your gut are going to tell you to do things you shouldn't do. Following a set of rules, a step-by-step process, as much as possible removes that.
Yeah, what are some of those steps? I mean, understanding where the trend may be could be a step. But I think one of the biggest ones, and you talk about it at every show, is what is your risk management?
Sure.
What are you willing to risk on an investment?
Yeah, that's key. That really is the number one thing. Risk management should be the first thing that you learn, because that's the most important component. If you can control the risk part of it, because think about it, there's really three things that can happen in any trade. One is that the price comes down to your entry, and you're either in or out. And when you're in, then you can either have a loss or you can have a win. Both of those, the loss part and the win part, should be managed. But if you can control and feel comfortable every time you make a trade, if you're wrong, you're comfortable with the amount of money that you can lose.
That's why you got to keep that as minimal as possible.
Correct. And one of the ways that we help you do that is our students have access to a trading and analysis decision support system we call CLIck. And the first thing that CLIck asks you, because you're going to kind of customize it to your style, the first thing it asks you is, what's the maximum dollar amount that you're willing to risk on any individual trade? For some people, it might be $50. Some might be $100, some $200, maybe some $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. But you put that in. Then if you try to put a trade together and it exceeds that risk, it's going to have a warning come up and say, hey, you're exceeding your risk. This is a trade you might not want to do. So that's the number one thing that I think we do that helps our students to feel more comfortable and feel more confident in their trades. It's a platform that not only will help you identify a good quality trade that you might want to participate in, but it also keeps you out of bad trades.
You're right. I mean, it really takes the guesswork out of it. If you feel like you're guessing in your investments, do you really have a plan? And that's part of that plan is to take
hope, because hope and pray goes along with guessing.
You're right. It's almost like smoking the hopium, right?
There you go.
Well, Al, I got to ask you a couple questions here. When is the best time to we got rain today. When's the best time to prepare for that?
Well, before it rains.
Well, of course.
You want to have an umbrella or a rain suit ready to go before it rains.
You're exactly right. So if it's going to rain, most people are going to be prepared. They're going to either look at their weather app and see, is it going to rain? Okay, do I need my rain jacket or my umbrella? Now, when is the best time to prepare for retirement?
Today
or yesterday, not tomorrow. Because if you think about it, April showers bring May flowers. And that's why it's so important to prepare for the future today. Al, I kicked off the show here today saying it is a beautiful day, but yet gloomy. Let's make it beautiful and bright for our listeners. Let's hear some words of wisdom.
Well, if you need something, if you need anything, just ask yourself how you're going to get it. What do you do if you can't tie your shoes? You buy loafers, right? There's almost always a solution. There's almost always a better way. That's learned through education. We talked a lot about leveraging your money today. Well, you can also leverage knowledge. And the great thing is that you don't need to know everything. You can leverage off of those that do. And you do that with proper education taught by people that know things that you don't. I talk often about attitude, Josh. If you start looking at what's positive, your brain becomes conditioned to find or look at more positive things than negative things.
You're exactly right. The education is there. You just have to be accountable for your actions. As always, same time, same place next week. Retire young, my friends.